Hey everybody, and welcome to GEN, the Goulash Entertainment Network. With me today, I have Bubba. What's going on, Bubba?
Hey, I'm Bubba.
And I'm Josh, and today we're here with another BnJ Expose. Network.
BnJ
Exposes.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen them before, we got another one out. It's about the fact that we've probably all eaten human meat, and I think you should go check it out. Link will be
human
in the
meat. I remember
description.
that.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But
That's hilarious.
it's a good one, and I think you should check it out. So go back, check it out. And today I want to discuss. There's been this theory that keeps popping up online, and it's gaining traction again. That the world has actually ended, and we are living in a simulation. It states that the world ended in 2012. You know, like 8 years ago. So has this last 8 years been a fake? I mean, so tell me, like, first off the bat, without hearing any of the information, I'm not even going to say facts, because there are some facts of things that are related to what people use, but I can't say right off the bat that all these are going to be facts, right? So right off the bat,
not by any means.
I know I've already given you information to look at, but if you were just coming in blind, no information about this, you haven't read anything, you haven't heard anything, and I said, hey man,
yeah,
in the last 8 years, total fucking simulation of some sort. It was a computer simulation or some. The world actually ended cataclysmically 8 years ago. And this has all been fake. The last 8 years has just been almost like a dream. What would you say right off the bat?
Okay, so I thought about that very question, actually.
Right.
When I first started reading about this.
Okay.
And I thought to myself...
Because, of course, you're coming in blind already.
I'm coming in blind already. I'm thinking, like, this is bullshit.
Right.
This is stupid.
Right.
Everything that's happened in my life, I have been... the cause of it. My decisions dictate what happens.
Right.
So I have a very hard time believing anything like this could be real. But with that being said, after doing a little bit of research, I have now gone from like completely not believing that this could be real, like this.
Right.
To
you're leaning into
real.
it a little bit, right?
Like, that little bit might be real.
Just lean in
I
and
don't
embrace
know.
that shit.
It's just, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And, it's hard because you can't trust anybody.
Anything, right?
You can't trust anything nowadays.
How it feels now.
I mean,
can't trust anything.
You look at our government. You look at our government, and you go, "Oh my God, I can't trust a damn word this guy is saying to me."
Yeah,
he's lied to me this time. The last person lied to me this time. You just can't
the
trust
person before
anyone.
That lied.
No,
fucking
exactly.
Governors are lying. They're all a bunch
and
of lying
he
pricks.
tells two friends, and he tells two friends, and he tells two friends,
and then two more.
It's
and right.
so on and so on. So it's it's frustrating to think about.
It is,
but it's just a lot to think about.
That's not to say that the simulation wouldn't be programmed to actually allow you the thought or
free
even
will.
Feeling of free will.
Free will.
Right.
And so. And that's the other thing. We're talking about it being the simulation. We don't know that. Is it a simulation?
Well, I mean,
or is it okay? So there's other ways of thinking about it. It's like we're being stuck in a weird time loop kind of deal, but it's not a loop. It's more like
a cinnamon bun.
No, exactly.
Did you read that I sent
yes.
you? Okay,
yes,
good. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a pinwheel, I believe is how they referred to it. Not a pinwheel.
It's like taking a piece of tape
Yep.
And then spinning it around and around
And
around.
eventually
It
comes
gets
to an
bigger
end.
and bigger,
And it
bigger,
gets
and
closer and
smaller
closer
smaller.
together as you get to the center.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a crunch.
Sure.
So, like they said, the Big Bang and then the Big Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we in that time? And like, what was it? The like the black hole theory. Like, is our universe just being sucked into one big black hole?
Right.
Like, okay, what?
So
what?
I gotta say, since I've been looking at this the last couple days and planning to have this discussion with you, the other day I was outside with my dog Callie, who you know, but for viewers who don't, and I was just standing outside. It was a beautiful fucking blue sky day, and I'm just staring up, like, wow, there's so much more beyond that.
this
And
is
it's
beautiful.
kind of freaked me out a little bit to think about what the, and just imagining seeing something like the world, if you actually saw the world ending or a huge fucking asteroid coming in or something. I was just kind of imagining that. And I was like thinking, I just saw that a good kind of way to bounce it back and forth. I just finished watching the Truman Show again the other day. It just happened to be on one of the Stars channels or something.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
I like that movie.
But where he gets to the edge of his universe in a way, and there's the door there, and he has that choice. Does he stay
at
or
the end
does
of the
he go?
horizon.
So when I look up at the sky, and it kind of makes me feel the same way. Like, what if there was a way to walk outside of this? If this is a simulation?
Wow.
There goes your fucking head, right? Like, this
Ouch.
is all a lot of mind-blowing theories
So then
and thoughts.
the Matrix thought, did I take the red pill or the blue pill?
So obviously, I mean,
And
even
did the
with
whole
that,
world take that blue pill?
it's
and we're
not that
just
it was
still
even
in
necessarily an option, because this is all that it would have
Mm.
been automatic, like it, because
No, I get it.
I
just
don't
saying,
remember the
I
world
understand. That's
ending.
what I meant.
Right? Like think about it.
No,
Do you remember
I didn't get a
anything
choice.
at the
There
end
wasn't
of
a
2012?
census sent out saying, "Hey, do you think the world should end right now?"
But do you know?
I don't remember.
Imagine this, that in our time zone we just happened to be asleep. So when we woke up, it was just a giant reset. But that people who were actually awake while we were asleep in different countries and shit experienced that ending, but then woke up to a reset after their ending.
I still remember. I remember everything. Nothing has changed in my mind. That's the thing.
Right.
I
If
don't
anything,
know. Or
it was a
you know,
seamless transition.
I don't know.
I mean,
Okay, so go talking about that. Right, we were saying like there's that theory of in that transition, did we lose something? Did something get switched around a little bit?
are we
Kinda
misremembering
like,
things?
Just like you're transferring your account from one video game system to another video game system with, say, Rockstar. And all of a sudden, everything goes great. All your stuff transfers over, except, you're missing $1 million out of your online account.
What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Same
or
thing.
didn't I have this car and it was purple and it was sitting right here, but it's not anymore?
Exactly. I remember Shaquille O'Neal movie.
There was a Sinbad movie. I swear I remember the box art on the VHS. And that's one of the things in that list of shit.
No, you're wrong.
No,
buddy.
no.
I think you're just messed up.
But then why do I remember it? And then I read about other people remembering
IMDb
it.
that
listen
right
to me.
now.
Listen to me though. The video does not exist. The movie does not exist. This is part of that Mandela Effect.
Oh, because it never existed.
It never existed,
buddy.
apparently. But why,
you had it
why
in your
am I
mind.
Why am I one of the people that remembers it? Seriously.
You had it in your mind.
Why am I one of the people that remembers it? I remembered it before I'd ever read about it. That's the thing, man. This was not put in my head. I remember that.
Know.
So
I don't think so.
That's fine. I'm telling you, I'm positive
I think your
had seen
mind's
it
playing
before
tricks
that.
on you.
It's either that or there was something else, but we need to dive deeper into that and the Mandela effect because, I mean, how do you remember Febreze being spelled? People seem to think that there were slight differences, and that's when we're talking about the Matrix and we're talking about the glitch. That's what people assume the Mandela effect is, because I also thought Mandela died in the 80s. I was positive of it, that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s.
That's right. Yeah, everybody thought he died in the 80s, but really he lived
And that's
until
where the name the
2013.
Mandela effect comes in. Yeah, 2013, 2003, something with a 3 in it. But that's where that comes into play. So why do some people remember that like it was yesterday? So let's dive right into that. Let's get this one article open. I'm going to find it right now. And also beforehand, guys and gals, anything that we cite, that if we're reading directly off a website or have a YouTube link, they're also going to be in the description in the order that they appear in the video. So if you want to do more research yourself and see exactly what we're looking at, reading at, follow right along. Links will be there.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the verywellmind.com's article about what is the Mandela Effect. And basically, it says it's a situation in which a large mass of people believes that an event occurred when it actually did not. It originated in 2009 from Fiona Broom. She published a website detailing her observations of the phenomenon. She was at a conference talking with other people about how she remembered the tragedy of former South African President Nelson Mandela's death in a prison in the 80s. And in fact, he died, like Brian said earlier, in 2013. As she began to talk to people about her actual memories, she realized that she was not alone in this. Okay. For instance, the movie Shazam. This is something else. Okay, so if we scroll down, let's take a look at some of the
some of the examples.
Some of the examples, the notable examples section. So this isn't only just saying, okay, this is definitely a thing. It's giving a good example of where we could have picked up that information.
This is a good one. I like the Luke, I am your father one.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Because I've said that for years too and misremembered it and had arguments. And even though I'm the biggest Star Wars fan, it gets ingrained in your brain. Right. And that's, no, I am your father, you know? So, yeah. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? I'm actually shocked. I did not realize that. I just learned that. It's not mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Magic mirror on the wall. I guess that makes sense. Oscar Mayer. There's the controversy over the spelling, and I will also attest that this one, I don't know if I actually have the memory or this one is easily imprinted. Because spelling mistakes, especially when it comes to brand names and their stupid way of spelling them sometimes.
Yeah. The location of New Zealand? How can that be a speculation?
Where is New Zealand in relation to Australia? If you look at the map, you'll see it's the southeast of the country. That's where I think.
No way.
However, there's a community of people who claim to remember New Zealand being northeast. Huh. No, Berenstein Bears. This is another one that comes up often. And even I'm like, yeah.
I can't remember. I remember what they look like and how I could have swore it was Berenstein Bears.
Me too. But it's Berenstain.
People could have been pronouncing it wrong.
And that's another very good possibility. And that's it. Okay, and then we get down to it. Shazam. One of the most well-known examples of the Mandela Effect is the collective memory of a movie called Shazam that starred the actor-comedian Sinbad in the 90s. I'm not
there
fucking
is
joking.
No such thing.
But
you guys are all fucking crazy.
In fact, no such movie exists. But the movie Kazam, like I was saying earlier, could be how it happened. But I'm fucking telling you, dude, I swear he was a goddamn genie.
Well, has anybody asked Sinbad?
Sinbad?
Hey, man. Did you star in this movie?
let me see here.
Yeah, no, Sinbad's gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. You guys are all crazy. You know what I think it is that makes you think it exists? I feel that all the people that think that movie exists are probably racist because they can't tell the difference between Shaquille O'Neal and fucking
They don't even
Sinbad.
look anywhere near the same. Oh, apparently this actual subject was part of a season 11 X-Files.
Shazam?
Yeah, it says season 11 as Mulder and Scully discussed in The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, written and directed by blah blah blah. It's the Mandela Effect. What do you mean? When someone has a memory of something that's not shared by the majority of the factual record, for instance, there are some people that have a memory of seeing a movie called Shazam starring Sinbad as an irrepressible genie, even after it's pointed out to them that they're probably thinking of a movie called Kazam starring Shaquille O'Neal as an irrepressible genie, especially because the movie called Shazam was never made. The phenomenon first came to Sinbad's attention about 5 years ago, which he feels gets passed down between siblings or parents to children. It's always the same thing, he says. It's either a bigger brother or younger sister, or a younger brother and a younger sister, or a mother and a daughter, or a father and a son. They all remember it, he said. Here's what matters. He has seen The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, and when he saw Mulder and Scully discussing the X-Files, he realized that the phenomenon was now too real. That was crazy, he says, that we made it to that level. That means I can't fight it anymore. I'm going with it. What the fuck does that mean?
That he did it? He doesn't remember making a fucking movie?
I know, right?
Like, what?
So
Holy shit. I'm gonna go with it, boys. Like, what?
I truly believe that it existed, but it didn't. And that's where the Mandela effect comes into play. I mean, is there anything that you've truly believed that turns out was not real?
Nothing that's not explainable to me.
Nothing that's not explainable.
Yeah, because there's so many times where I know that I'll look at something and then look back and it's different. Like, I remember movies differently than when I was a little kid.
Sure.
You know, because I'm an adult now. I've got a different set of eyes on it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I can look into things better. You know, I feel like a lot of things that I learn as a kid, that I'm doing as a kid, I'm going to be doing way differently as an adult. Right. I look at things completely differently now.
Sure.
Not the same person, you know, so I have a hard time believing in a lot of this.
Absolutely. No, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm a believer, but I just want to explore all the possibilities because, I mean, let's put it this way, and I don't want to be too offensive. There's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of religions out there, and these people believe in these things, and I, for one, do not believe in any religion. It's fine if you do. I'm not going to judge you unless you're acting crazy. Then I'm just going to judge you based on your level of craziness, okay? It might not necessarily have to do with your religion, but if you're a crazy person, you're religious, I might back away from you, but I don't give a shit if you're whatever. I don't believe it at all. And to me, that's a very similar thing, that there's so many people that are so hard pressed that they believe that. Flat earthers, people believe that. I think that's garbage,
That's, yeah, and it's so crazy, like, how at one end of the spectrum it can be, how far off it can be. It blows your mind that you can think so differently than another person.
Right. And it's fine to do that, whatever. That's why we're all different. But to not, at least if you want to believe in that and think that there's some sort of truth in that, well, why couldn't there even be a remote possibility that what we're experiencing is simulated somehow? And it doesn't mean exactly the way they're saying it, but we're living in a simulation of some sort. It doesn't, it's the same. Like, some people would say, yeah, no, it's a possibility. And some people are going to say, no, that's fucking stupid. Same with the flat earth, right? Some people are like, absolutely, that makes sense. And then there's other people who are like, no, that's stupid, right? And who's to say that the flat earth thing couldn't be part of a simulation thing too. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so it could be a multi-layered thing. And somewhere in one of those articles I read that they said something about like a multiverse being kind of like the nesting
You
dolls.
know what? I'm about to put your fucking flat Earth to rest and why people think it's a flat Earth.
I already know
ready
that.
for this?
I know that.
You-
Explain to the
do you-
people back home.
Do you know what I think happened? I think that there was a bunch of kids that weren't paying attention in school, and they during that one lesson they heard, "Oh, you know what? People thought that the Earth was flat," and that's all they heard. Earth was flat, and they're sucked into it.
Earth
now.
was flat.
Yep, bunch of
They
just
saw
a bunch
those-
of dumb kids
they
who
saw
weren't paying
those-
attention off in La La Land, you know,
How
and
they
they
all
went,
project the
Earth
Earth
is
as a
flat.
flat
Copy
disc."
that. Copy that. Teach.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's what the
Teach.
maps look like, you know, and they're showing you a picture in your textbook of a flat Earth, you know, this map of Earth, and people are going, flat Earth. Yep, that's what he
That
just
must
said.
be what it is.
And it gets ingrained that early, like what's Inception, you know, just a thought.
Right. Well,
And
no,
it sticks in there, and it gets bigger and bigger.
but the thing is, like when they were talking about multiple universes, that to think more of it like nesting dolls, that one is inside the other. So who's to
that's
say
interesting.
that if
That's
there's multiple simulations running at once, and we're remembering accidental things in the other universes, what's to say that one of those universes doesn't have a flat Earth?
Okay, why are we calling it a simulation though? It doesn't feel.
What is real? You know, I know what you were about to say. It feels real, but what is real?
What is exactly? You know, why
this
can't it?
table?
Why does it have to be called? Why does it have to be called a simulation? Why can't it be called like an existential
pseudo
something
reality?
different?
Pseudo reality.
I don't know. Am I an AI?
No, not necessarily. You're an entity of some sort.
Are
but
you an AI?
Are you? Am I an AI? You might be an AI. You know, you
Who
could
knows?
definitely be an
You
AI.
know, man. I mean,
We could all be running off the same consciousness that just has all these little billions of fingers outstretched. So, you know, and that's the thing that one page breaks down to is the possibility of alternate realities, which it would originate from quantum physics and relates to the idea that rather than one timeline of events, it is possible that alternate realities or universes are taking place and mixing with our timeline. Basically, that's the nicer way of saying exactly what we just said. Of course, it definitely doesn't sound realistic to me, you know, but
Right.
I'm willing to believe anything if there were actual proof. We don't really have any proof. We've got a lot of theories about a lot of this stuff. So,
yeah.
you know, but would I be surprised at the end of life? It was like, all right, this is, you know, you come out and you're being talked to by a computer. That was the end of life A. To start life B, flip over the side of this cassette and press play. You know, like false memories.
Dude.
That's what we have to consider. That all these things are is false memories. But the thing about that bothers me is why do so many people have the same false memories? It's not just a small group of people. I'm not the only one that remembers Shazam with Sinbad. And I'm not the only one who remembered it before I read about it.
Is that, you know, you get these people who say the word wrong. Or they'll say, oh, it was this actor, and they actually got mistaken. It was this person. It was this name, or it was that name.
Right.
And then it turns into just a common thing. I mean,
but this is the thing, though, man. That, like, the Mandela Effect is obviously a thing. People are experiencing
fair
it,
enough,
right?
Yes.
I mean, Good Fucking Housekeeping did an article about it. I'm going to that one now. 40 Mandela Effect examples that will blow your mind. We're going to show this. We won't even put the link for this. I'm going to actually show this stuff in the background here behind us. Because we actually have some visuals. Of course, number 1 is Nelson Mandela's death. Number 2, do you remember Jiffy peanut butter?
I remember Jif.
Okay, see, you remembered as Jif. I remember being called Jiffy. I do remember that. That's not even
I
a
remember
joke.
people saying Jiffy peanut butter.
But it isn't. It's just
I
Jif.
don't. I always remember as it like the container saying Jif, but I
Yeah.
remember people saying Jiffy.
See, and that's a
Jiffy Jif.
yeah, and see that's funny because we speculate they're combining Jif with its competitor Skippy.
Huh? Maybe.
Okay, I could see that. Now,
Looney Tunes.
not that I've thought about
Okay.
Skippy for a while though. I don't even remember that peanut butter. But yeah, Looney Tunes. Here's another one.
I can't remember. I almost want to say it was the one on the left.
No, that's not the one. It's the one on the right.
I can't remember.
I know.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I've even thought about something like that.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes, hey, it could have been this.
And that's the thing. Here's the
Could've been
Bernstein
this.
Bears again.
Yeah. Okay. I remember. Yeah, I remember the picture. I remember what they look like.
Absolutely. But when you see it in the font.
Okay, so the one on the right.
The one on the right's the real one.
Yeah.
Curious George's tale. Was that never there? Bullshit. I swear I remember him swinging from a tree in one of the early animated ones that I had on VHS.
I don't remember him having a tail at all.
I swear I remember him hanging from a tree, but that's me.
Sex in the City.
No, keep going. Oh no. That is one of them. Sorry, I thought that was an ad.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Sex and the City and Sex in the City.
Right.
See, I remember Sex and the City.
Right. I always called it Sex in the City. I was mispronouncing it. I know I was mispronouncing it. I'm sure of that because it rolls off better. I think that I think there was a large group of people who weren't saying it right. I really do. Because that's just a perfume on the left. And could easily be, obviously, I bet you that came out around the same time because they were definitely borrowing from that.
So, okay, so look at the Febreze one for me real quick.
Yeah.
So, this is one of those ones where I think that they used, so you see the one on the left?
Yeah.
I think that sometimes they use like another E to add to the logo. It's not necessarily what it's supposed to read as. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think maybe during like fall of 2001 for, these many months, we used this logo or this label on this certain type of spray.
You'd hate to know that the one on the left is not real, though.
I would. I'd be fucking dumbfounded. I tell you what, boy.
It's the one on the right is correct. So there's this whole site that has collected this dude's tweets. A guy named Nick Hinton. You can follow him at capital Nick, just capital N, I should say, in Nick Hinton, capital HINTONN. I'm pretty sure he's still out there. These tweets come through 2015. In fact, let me click on him. Just see if he still exists. And then he hasn't been deleted off the face of the internet. No, these tweets definitely do exist. And it'd be interesting to do a deep dive at some point into people's theories and retweets and whatnot. But for now, I want to just go over the basics here of his tweets. And he says, I wanted to talk about this subject for a while now. The other day, I had a random urge to look into it again and read some old stuff, just for fun. Ever since then, I've noticed other people talking about it again. But the strangest part is I cannot find anything online about it anymore. Like I said, you can find people talking about it casually or joking about it, but I cannot find any of the in-depth material I had read before. This has actually been really frustrating for me because I have nothing to refresh my memory while writing this. I found a few things here and there that are helping me piece the puzzle together again, but I know there used to be so much more out there, right? I can't even remember the first time I've heard this theory, but it's become somewhat of a meme. I did find a video of Max Lawhan, I believe is the pronunciation of that child genius from YouTube, touch on this theory, but I don't think he's the first to talk about it. I think originally it was some girl. So, did the world actually end in 2012? It's the year scientists at CERN finally found the Higgs boson. You know, the particle Stephen Hawking predicted could destroy the universe, or in his own words, cause the universe to undergo a catastrophic vacuum decay. Yes.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yes, have some.
Have some. Well, what would happen if we destroyed the universe? Would we know? Maybe CERN accidentally created a black hole that sucked us in without us even noticing. Again, that leads to my, were we asleep when it happened? Because you'd think that that'd be a memory, unless it could have been erased.
Interesting.
And we've just been living in it. Some physicists actually believe this is possible. There's this old cliche argument that nothing has felt right since 2012. I agree with this. Maybe it was something to do with growing up and getting older. But ever since then, it seems like the world descends more and more into chaos each day. Time even feels faster, which I think normally comes just with age. Because I remember my first summer vacation from school felt like eons compared to, when I was a teenager, for instance. He goes on to say, there's some sort of calamity happening almost daily. Mass shootings only stay in the headlines for like 12 hours now. Did we all die and go to hell? I don't really believe that, but some people do. Maybe we're in a similar situation to the characters in The Good Place. Like I've said before, I think we live in a series of simulations. Perhaps the universe was destroyed by CERN, and our collective consciousness was moved into a parallel universe. Knock, knock, next door. It would be almost identical. His reasoning, some people seem to remember things slightly different from others, and that's when we get back into what we were just discussing, the Mandela Effect. Apparently, right before the United States entry into World War I, the Germans committed the first act of terrorism on U.S. soil. It was considered one of the largest artificial non-nuclear explosions to have ever occurred. Why didn't we hear about this in school, he wonders. I mean, we were taught what we were taught because it's what they selected to teach us and put in a book. There's so much more history than what one fucking year of any history class could ever contain.
Exactly.
If you had to count everybody's history, it's bullet points. It's like the bullet points.
That's why we have the internet right now.
Yeah,
that's why we have the internet now.
We can go back and find out that this shit happened.
Yeah, just take the time. Be what's that? What's the word I'm looking for? Where you're self-taught, autodidact.
Big word.
Boom! Everybody thinks I'm just big dummy.
Imagine a multi-dimensional spider's web in the early morning covered with dewdrops, and every dewdrop contains the reflection of all the other dewdrops, and in each reflected dewdrop, the reflections of all the other dewdrops in that reflection, and so on ad infinitum. That is the Buddhist conception of the universe in an image. This also reminds me of the turtles all the way down myth, the story that the world sits on the back of a turtle who's standing on a larger turtle, who's standing on an even larger turtle. You get the idea, he says. This is where, when I was reading last night, I found this really interesting. But anyways, besides the Mayans, there were some other people who predicted 2012 would be the end.
Yeah.
One of these people was Terence McKenna. Well, he didn't necessarily believe 2012 would be the end, but he predicted there would be some quote-unquote reality
rearranging.
Yeah, event, correct. He made this prediction using his time wave zero formula, which we are showing here, and makes no sense to me looking at it. This is what you were talking about earlier about the spiral.
Yeah.
Okay. The graph culminates in the singularity point of infinite complexity. To better understand this concept, you can imagine a tape wrapped up in a spiral like you find inside a VHS tape. Time goes round and round in smaller and smaller loops until eventually it runs out. Is there another meaning to the end of time? Preston B. Nichols, the supposed whistleblower who wrote books detailing time travel experiments at the Montauk Air Force Base, claimed that they were never able to time travel past 2012 because they could find no future beyond it.
Yeah, we time traveled. We just couldn't get past this one date. And then we came back. I mean, fuck, man.
So if you scroll a little bit farther down, he goes on to say, I just find it fitting that people think this is happening. It kind of fits the dreamlike purgatory theme. It's this theory I find most when trying to research the top of the world having already ended. If you think fourth dimensionally or beyond linear time, we could say that the universe has already ended. The moment it began, the end was already set in stone. Perhaps the universe is in constant cycle of expanding and contracting. The Big Bang and Big Crunch happening over and over, and our souls are just taking a ride on the cosmic Ferris wheel. That's where he ends it. It's not up to us. I mean, this is an expose, but I don't think that there's I don't think that there's a solid answer, because I don't think it can be proven either way.
This is all I can say from my experience, and that's all I can speak of is in my experience.
Right.
I make decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and my decisions have consequences. I think about how my decisions affect other people, you know, like me going on the road while Jess is at home, and I'm thinking, okay, how is that making her feel?
Sure.
What is she thinking right now? And, you know, things like that, because what you do affects other people.
Of course.
And
I mean,
what their lives turn out to be. And that butterfly effect, as we were talking about earlier.
right.
You know.
Which, as I was saying to you off camera earlier, I just watched again the other night, and I think it's Ashton Kutcher's strongest performance and a really good movie and a very interesting thought. Imagine if you could do something like that. Go back and try to correct things, but how fucked it would make
I don't know if
everything
I would.
else.
I don't know if I would. Why would I? You know, ugh, that sounds.
I know as many
Don't wanna
horrible
start
things that
fucking
has
with
happened
stuff.
as in our lives with people we know and love and shit. It's like something really more worse could happen. You don't know.
No.
You don't know. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Everything happens for, you know, a reason, you know.
Right. You know, and
Every
that's
decision has a consequence.
right. And that's exactly how I think it would be simulated. Simulation since 2012, man. Is it or is it not? We're gonna leave that up. We're gonna leave that up to the viewer at home. I'm gonna remain on the fence. I don't think either way. I think anything's possible, really.
I think anything is possible.
And I don't think most things like that are too far fetched out of the realm of reality. Like, the thing is, if it were proved to be true, like, I wouldn't be like, I'm really surprised. I'd just be like, yeah, all right.
Well,
but maybe that's just how I
possible,
am.
but
I'm
is
just
it
a laid back
probable?
guy. I don't give a fuck, you know. Is it probable?
It's possible.
No.
Is it probable?
No.
That's
I mean,
the real.
it's not
That's where the
highly
real
probable.
math start. That's where the real math starts coming in.
It's not
You
highly
gotta
probable.
trust the numbers.
But again,
you gotta start trusting the numbers.
remember, there's a huge group of people who believe that there's an invisible man who lives in the sky, and everything he does is for you. You know, Carlin.
Now
man.
everybody stand up at the same time, and everybody get down on your knees at the same time. Now
Earthquake.
speak. Also with you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Peace be with you. You know, like that. You know, So I think that anything is possible because Jesus Christ. Imagine if Jesus Christ was actually real. I mean, wouldn't you be surprised?
And poof! Look, right there.
It's Jesus
That
Christ.
Jesus.
And that, like, dinosaurs were actually, you know, some people say that fossils and dinosaurs were actually put here by Satan to make you believe that Jesus didn't, or God didn't create the world and Jesus and us.
What?
You've never heard
way.
that? Oh, no,
my
that's a big thing. That's
gosh.
actually a thing. That's a big thing.
No way.
Yeah, most
All right.
hardcores.
I'm a little. I'm flabbergasted right now.
Yeah, those
from
have been put
everything.
here
I
by
can't.
Satan. I'm not even joking.
All right.
I could easily
Fair
send you the
enough.
links. That's what those people believe. They do.
Fucking
They
Beelzebub, nice job.
So if you think that for some people that's believable, I could absolutely see people totally believing that the simulation is a real thing. And so I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that I could see that people could easily believe it is. Because if you can believe that and not believe the science behind it, I mean, what is reality? That says a lot about everything, like the reality of religion, the reality of self, the reality of the world, the reality that, you know, you and I are interacting right now, but there are billions of other interactions going on, and we couldn't even possibly fathom or calculate or even think about seeing all those interactions at once. Imagine if you could see everyone's interaction through their eyes at once. The amount of data going through people.
Brain orgasm.
Think about it, like the ants crawling on the brain, man. Like it's all this data being just fucking always downloaded and uploaded simultaneously between people.
I can imagine like a very weird tingling sensation on my spinal cord while all that information is coming into my head.
But that's the thing. Imagine all that. Imagine and you could focus on things like, okay, here's a guy who's taking a swim in Hawaii. Like there's all these things going on outside of our little bubble, because I mean, everybody, even the viewers back home, your bubble is small comparatively to the world. Even if you interact with hundreds of people a day, your bubble is nothing compared to the interactions of everybody in this world. People would look at it as it's like the written rule of the universe that we live in, that in a way still that there are bullet points that are predetermined in this simulation, if it's a simulation. And that's kind of weird. It's not a
simulation. I don't agree with that word.
So you would so what you're saying is you would back off that, and you would be on the not even on the fence. You're like, absolutely do not agree, not a possibility at all. What's your opinion like that on?
I don't think that it is possible for me to be a simulation.
All this, because it's not just you, it's everything around you. It's me. I'm a simulation to you.
But in my mind, my world is my simulation. That's why I can't believe that that's a thing. If you were to have somebody going through a simulation, or a whole world going through a simulation.
Again, I just said earlier, imagine all the data uploading and downloading just by talking and being with other people.
Exactly. That's why it's only you.
So then, okay. So think about it like this. Here's a weird way to think about it. Think about yourself. We're on the pinhead of an atom.
I gotta finish that one thought though, or else I'm gonna forget.
Go.
The reason why I feel like I have existence and not a simulation is because my thoughts are so in depth. I don't think that any kind of AI is going to simulate the pain I felt, or a specific taste, specific smell, all these things. I don't think that that's possible.
But just because our computers can't do those kind of things now doesn't mean that the computers that existed after 2012 could.
Fair enough, but
upload our data and consciousness.
It's just like that.
Think about it though, man, because we are electrical energy, right? We are data. We have data stored.
Yes.
I mean, in a lot of senses, computers, are they based off us, or are we based off of them? We have processing power. Some have more than others. Some have more ability to remember things more.
Maybe it's not so much
greater
that.
detail.
It's more of the human brain trying to make a better brain and making the computer.
Yeah, okay. But have you ever seen, there's a couple people that can remember, like, you could be like, what were you doing at 3:33 p.m. August 7th, 1979, and they'd sit there for a second and be like, well, I just got myself a cup of tea and that day, blah, blah, and they'll give you a play-by-play. There's a couple people that have these memory capabilities of remembering exactly what they did.
Brain.
Yeah, no, I mean, we know that we don't use anywhere
our full potential.
The full potential.
Some people can.
Is that because it's limited because of the simulation?
They keep it dumbed down like easy NPCs.
Yeah, because would we undo the would we undo the simulation if we started to gain higher conscience, or a higher?
So you're trying to say that we might be
consciousness.
Skynet.
Who's to say we're not?
Don't want us to get. Honestly, fuck it. Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? That's all I can say. Who cares?
I mean, that's the thing, because it wouldn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely wouldn't matter. It doesn't change anything. No, regardless if it were real or not. It absolutely.
Who cares, and that it doesn't matter. maybe that helps us push towards being able to get out. And
We
bring
wouldn't
down
want to
the
get out,
system.
dude. Fuck that.
You don't think
But
so?
if
You
anything,
want to stay in?
but
You
if
want to stay
anything,
booted in?
let's
You
say,
want to keep the blue pill? You don't want that red pill?
here's the deal.
You don't want the red pill?
Here's the deal. If I could,
Red pill?
if there was a way of controlling
Red
it,
pill?
if there was a way of controlling it, right, and you were able to bend reality, if you became a little bit more conscious of it and were able to bend reality, I would just live forever, man, in the simulation and do all sorts of stupid, dumb shit that I could get away with. Fuck it. Live forever.
I don't like the word simulate is because it is so real.
Right.
Like, when does it stop becoming simulation or being called that? I mean, I just can't call something a simulation when it's this. Me looking at this, touching this.
But haven't you ever looked at
fucking
yourself, like you've looked at your hand
doing this.
and you move it around and you know you're moving it around, you know you're in control, but have you ever looked at it like that through your own eyes and then looked in the mirror and feel like you're just a fucking meat puppet? Like there's more
fucking meat puppet.
Yeah, like we are just consciousness puppeteering meat bags of meat. We don't exist as we are because of what we look like. You know, there's things that we can do to improve our physique or worsen our physique. Has nothing to do. We could change.
That takes a lot of work.
People are changing their sex and their genitalia, but they're always going to be now. But they're always going to be that same consciousness, that same person. Nothing ever changes that, right? There are so many possibilities in and of itself alone. You know, I mean, I'm on the fence. I think anything's possible, and I also think it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, it would suck if it was all simulation since 2012, or even the fact that it could have this has always been a simulation, and that someone else is watching this, that we're just data on a screen of somebody, just like the Matrix. We're a little bloop, 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 going by on the screen. We're nothing more than that. We don't know it. We have no fucking idea. I mean, because when you look at the bigger picture, and I think things that we'll get farther into in other and upcoming BnJ Exposes, when I think about it, is life out there beyond the planet, the universe as a whole, and how there's just no fucking way to have that we, in our lifetime especially, and I'm sure for thousands of years, no one will ever be able to explore the expanses of it. There'd have to be a huge change in technology and space travel technology to even begin traveling the supposed, I should say, I guess, because we're not scientists, we haven't studied this. I would like to believe that what they tell us is true, but the supposed distances that what they can have mapped out and seen so far, which is telescopes and computer imaging and shit like that, like there's so much to see, and there's must be more, and in that effect, is that where alternate universes actually lay, in just a mirrored image of our place somewhere else in a different universe outside of our galaxy. But I don't know. I think we should leave it up to the viewer back home. Like I said, I'm sitting on the fence, and it sounds like you're leaning more and more towards it's just not possible.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's really hard. That's why I'm still, whatever.
And the thing is, you've really
I'm at that point.
You've really been
really
presented with no hard evidence. You're just starting to go off feeling right now.
Exactly. I mean, there's no hard evidence.
Don't you think that your feelings would be the
it.
strongest measurement? So then why am I still on the fence about it? Why do I think that there possibly could be some sort of, and I'm not saying it's exactly what we've said. I'm saying it's that what we've talked about, or even just a kind of an offshoot or a semi-offshoot of what we're talking about, like with minor detail changes, even major detail changes, but it might not be the way we experience life might not be exactly how we perceive it. It's is not how it really is. And that's the cause for all these oddities that we experience. Recycled fucking energy, reincarnation, thinking we saw something, being that we've actually been reincarnated and we're actually experiencing life multiple times right now. We're actually other people at the same time, and we'll experience those lives at another time. That's why sometimes you lock eyes with someone you've never seen before and you're like, what the fuck? Why am I drawn to that person? Because you know them from somewhere else? You exist in their world as someone else? It's a lot to think about. But as it is, I think this is a good point to end it, and we'll leave, the opinions to the viewers back home. Yeah, I think that's best. It's a hard thing to say. Who knows? Will we ever find out? Probably not. And with that happy note, thank you for tuning in to GEN, the Goulash Entertainment Network, and another BnJ Expose with my buddy Bubba and me. I'm Bubba. I'm kind of depressed.
I'm not. I don't care anymore.
It
doesn't matter.
It doesn't
matter.
Keep telling yourself that, man. Keep telling yourself
I'll
that.
Make the best of. Well, you got to figure you're always going to make the best of whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Simulation
that's
or not.
all I can do.
I'm just going to keep living.
There we go.
But man, if I'm able to fucking bend reality and fly, god damn it, like in my dreams, I want to do that. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm going to try. Not to fly. I'm going to try, but I'm not going to try to do it stupid. I'm going to start on the ground. Don't worry, I'm not going to jump out of a tree. But thank you for tuning in, and be on the lookout for more BnJ Exposés coming up, as well as more new content on the newly reformed and revamped X Game and Day Gamer channel. GEN, Goulash Entertainment Network. Exposés.